All right, we're going to look at multiplying radicals. Okay, to multiply some radicals in a variety of situations, here we have a whole number multiplied to a radical. When those two get multiplied together, the 3 will be put in front of the radical of 5. When you have two radicals together being multiplied, you multiply the two radicands. So 3 times 5 is 15, so it's square root 15. When you are squaring something with a radical and a number in front, you would basically distribute to each one. Therefore, 6 squared is 36, and square root of 5 squared, the square and the square root are inverses, so they cancel each other out, leaving a 5. So it's really 36 times 5, which is 180. Then here we have 2 cube root of 5 times 3 cube root of 2. Therefore, 2 times 3, we're going to multiply the two outside numbers together to make 6. We have our cube root, and then 5 times 2 is 10. Now, one thing you will notice, and when I was multiplying two radicals, is that their indexes were the same. You have to multiply with the same indexes. So here we have, it says multiply and simplify. This is essentially distributive property. So 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times negative square root of 5 is negative 3 square root of 5. Once again, a number not inside of a radical will go in front of a radical when they are multiplied together. From here, I can't simplify the square root of 5 at all, and so this is essentially my answer. And then here we have, once again, distributive property. The square root of 2 times the square root of 7 is the square root of 14, because 7 times 2 is 14. And the square root of 2 times 2 is just 2, then square root 2. I can't simplify the 14. I can't simplify the square root of 2. These can't go together, and we're done. Right here, essentially it's distributive property. You would have 3 times negative 5, which is negative 15, and then 3 times negative 3 square root of 5, so that's negative 9 square root of 5. Then we would go to the 4 square root of 2 and times it to the negative 5, which gives us negative 20 square root of 2. And then we multiply again. 4 square root of 2 times negative 3 square root of 5 is negative 12 square root of 10. Now we'll go ahead and combine any like terms we might have. And in this situation, we don't have any. We have a square root of 10, a square root of 2, and a square root of 5. None of those are like terms, therefore I can't combine any of them. And the square root of 10, I can't simplify that because it's just 2 and 5. There's nothing to circle. So this is my final answer. Then here with the square root of 2 minus square root of 3 being square, that means there are 2 of those that look like this. And so square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 4. And the square root of 2 times the square root of 3 will give us a negative, because a positive and a negative, square root of 6. And then we go ahead and do it again, but we do it for our number right here, the square root of 3. Negative square root of 3 times square root of 2 is negative square root of 6. And then a negative times a negative is a positive, and the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 9. Now I have the square root of 4, which is really 2, and the square root of 9, which is really 3. These are like terms because they're both square root 6's. There's really invisible ones in front of there. So negative 1 and negative 1 is really negative 2 square root 6. And so now I can go ahead and combine my like terms, making 5 minus 2 square root 6. And you have multiplied and simplified.